Let's get into it. Coach Colin, what's going on, guys? We're going to jump right in here. There's been a development that has taken place. Now, I'm going to show you some information here. We are going to start with the initial clip to show what I'm talking about. Then we're going to jump over to Patrick Bet David. Then there is someone who I do not know their name, but they have a lot of great information. If you know who it is, please let us know, because they just do great work. And then there is a development in a FOIA a FOIA request, I should say, request for information about the construction from September 10th to October 15th. Now, this guy and his team, and we've been in contact, they actually put this into play. They went and got the request. They were denied what they wanted, but they were given text messages between someone at UVU and a construction company. And basically, these texts are showing that the construction was not pre-planned, like the narrative had said, like it was planned way before Charlie even sat down there. No, that is not what happened. Now, when I say the construction, some of you maybe don't know what I'm talking about. Well, check this out.
Let's see what are they doing, because I see a lot of construction smoke going on. Oh no, they are constructing. They are taking out the whole platform where he was sitting, and they are constructing a new one, as you can see.
So this construction went down pretty much right away. I mean, this person took this video. Actually, I should say this person grabbed this clip on September 15th, which means that they were seeing this around September 13th, right? Very, very quick. They got in there, they redid everything. If you don't know what this exact location is, this is exactly where Charlie was. This right here is exactly where Charlie was. This is where everybody ran. This is where Mikey McCoy did his walk. This is where everything happened. They right away took all this apart. Now, I would think, and redid it, I would think that you would have that preserved for as long as need be. I mean, even just to revisit it. You know, we've all seen, first off, we've seen cases where this has happened, okay? Where somebody goes back to the scene of the crime like a week, 2 weeks later, because they just got to get a feel. They got to just see if they missed anything. They just want to comb through it again because they're just trying to work through this case. And you've also seen it in movies, you know? Officer Johnson's like, I just had to come back to the scene. I feel like we have some unfinished business here. You know what I mean? That type of thing. But not in this case. 48 hours tops. Figure out what you got to figure out, guys. We're getting rid of all this. We're redoing everything. So if there's fingerprints that you need, possible blood splatter, anything, you better get to it, because we're redoing all this within a day or two. It's pretty wild that they would do that.
So that's what the change is. And guess what? The killer was there and there was a video taken from here, and that's where you see a killer running behind in the background, and I was like right here when it happened. So this is what is happening right now. I think, oh, as you can see, my boss is still there. They are taking the things inside, so I'm gonna go inside and see.
I want this person doing all reporting. First off, the best part of this person reporting was this.
All going on. Oh no.
Oh no. At least you know they're watching it live with all of us. They're like, let me see what's going on here. Oh no, no, no. Oh no, I think what I'm seeing.
They are constructing. They are taking out the whole platform where he was sitting, and they are constructing a new one, as you can see.
And guess what? The killer was over here and the shot was over here. I mean, just solid work, though. Solid work. I mean, I didn't see many other people providing this, and it seems like this person goes to the school or works for them, because they said inside where the school was that their boss was still there. So that is the initial construction that we're talking about. Guys, listen. The glasses just broke. Listen, subscribe. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the like button. Turn on your notifications. Please, that is all I ask of you guys. There's so many of you that are not subscribed. Please subscribe, especially because, you know, eventually they're going to catch on to this Philadelphia stuff. They're going to catch on eventually. They're going to figure out what I'm actually saying. Need your help before that happens, okay? All right? Subscribe. I'm out of here. Now, Patrick Bet-David's boy actually went and called the school, and this is a little while ago because it didn't make any sense. People were hearing about this construction happening, and they were like, isn't this a crime scene? This is a huge, huge event. Why would you even think about doing construction? And the narrative was, it was pre-planned, nothing we could do about it. They were coming in no matter what, whether the event went smoothly or tragedy hit Charlie. Okay? So listen to what he says when he called the school.
Sorry, I don't believe the official narrative.
You called the school. What
I
happened
called
when you
yesterday.
Called the school?
I called, and Amanda was with me. She recorded it. I called UVU, and I called to the main desk, and I said, hey, I'm with such and such. I made up a thing, and I said, I'm trying to find out if you guys, because the construction that's happening right now is unbelievable. It doesn't even look like what it is right now, okay? Doesn't make sense. I said, who do I talk to? You guys just had, and I apologize, you guys had the biggest assassination since JFK on your campus. Was there scheduled construction on the exact site where this happened? Can you comment on that? He goes, let me direct you to the right place. Your conversations, you're typing, sends me to like maintenance or something like that. And it's a female that picks up, and I go, hey, I'm so-and-so with media. I go, I'm just curious. Did you guys have construction set up? Whispering, talk to the... I can't talk to you about that. I go, no, hold on one second. I don't need information about the shooting or nothing like that. Did you guys have scheduled maintenance? Because I would assume that if it's an assassination at this magnitude, you would leave the crime scene for potential bullets, potential, fragments, other things to recreate in the scene. There's stuff in that ceiling, that overhead, Pat, that there's cameras, there's an opening that you could get in there. I'm like, how is this normal? Who made the decision? I can't say anything. Let me give you the information to our VP of Strategic and Communications Management. I called her 3 times. I don't even want to say her name. I called 3 times. Nobody picked up, and I left a message. I'm just trying to figure out with this type of magnitude. And you know what's insane? For how many minutes after, not one police officer went there and secured the crime scene. I've watched multiple videos. I've watched aftermath of videos. I saw people coming and stealing hats off a truck and throwing them. Some guys like, what the hell are you doing? There's no way this type of cover-up. And the fact that when you
That's a fact. That law enforcement should have shown up and taped the scene.
Why didn't they?
And you know what's crazy?
Just like Butler.
They were
Why
there, though.
didn't they?
I don't know, but you know what's crazy, Pat? I saw a cop. One cop basically had his gun drawn while they were bringing Charlie, got arrested, sold to the vehicle. Your job, bro, is to go... This idiot, by the way, Candace yesterday was talking about this guy, Pat. She knows him. She goes, never has this guy ever been around when we were on tour.
This who? Back up a second and say who we're talking about.
The guy with the camera that was taking SD card
Who
out.
stood on the chair.
Think about this, guys. It's a crime scene. You're moving the chair that he was shot. There's probably evidence in there if there was, God forbid, a bullet in there. He's climbing up there, moving everything, and nobody's saying anything? Common sense 101. You're touching the crime scene. That's the main event. That camera has everything. Okay, and I'm sorry, people are like, who do you trust? Get Israel, get all that out of there. The way that it was handled and the fact that his friends and everybody else have just moved on and they're worrying about Turning Point does not sit with me well, Pat. And I'm talking about my mom, I'm talking about people from all walks of life are like, something doesn't feel right.
Who's mom?
Man, I want to sit down with Vinny one day and talk about this. I would love to sit down and talk to Vinny. He's pretty much the only one from the crew I would want to talk to. Like, even Vinny more than Pat, for sure. And you notice something? I will show every time that they were talking about Charlie, I want to see if I can get a little clip of the guy. Every time they were talking about Charlie, Adam's not there and this other guy's there, which I just find so interesting that there's some other dude there instead. There he is, right? Instead of Adam. Really funny, right? Adam just can't be there. He would just start screaming, no more talking about Charlie. Drop it. This is crazy. Oh, yeah. We all know. Anyway, that's what Vinny did. Vinny calls in. They're not going to tell him anything. Now, this lady, I'm going to show you this in a second. Now, this is their actual request that they put in, and the request was denied. I'm going to show you the text messages that they got. And one of the most wild text messages is that The guy, the construction guy, actually says, my guys are well trained in keeping quiet. Now, before I show you that, I just want to show you this woman and what she has to say, because she actually talked to somebody who was doing the construction, who was called for the job.
UVU is lying if they said that the construction was pre-scheduled, and I'm going to prove it, because this is Edward Thomas. He's the one that actually received the work order from UVU on Friday, 2 days after the event. Now let me show you the guy that he recruited to come in and help, because he realized when he got there Sunday morning, the earliest he could get in was Sunday morning. When he got there, he realized he bit off more than he can chew for the tight deadline, and he called in Daniel. Now this is Daniel. This is Daniel from Hardscape, Utah. In a video that he released, he said he was called by somebody to come help them get this job done because it was a very tight schedule. Had to be done by Monday afternoon. Now in that video, people are giving him shit for going and doing this work. However, everybody needs to keep in mind, especially with Daniel, he got the phone call on Sunday, which was the 14th, 4 days after the event. Highly emotional time for everybody. Both Edward and Daniel, I believe wholeheartedly, thought that they were doing something good. But
now, that's what I heard from her, and I saw this video a while ago. And after seeing the text messages, I don't know if what she just said is actual. Now, I know that's what she feels, but again, one of the guys said they're well trained in keeping quiet. And yeah, that's very interesting. Now, one guy's name is Daniel, so I just got to write that down. Dan is that guy that she's talking about that got the call, because one guy realized he bit off more he can chew. Well, I'll find his picture again in a second. Here, let's keep going.
let's read Edward's review on Daniel's page, because Daniel was getting so much flack from everybody. First, I'm just going to show, here's the pictures that Edward posted. Then here is the beginning of his review for Daniel. And here is the entire review. If you want to talk about some amazing guys, that would be Daniel and his crew. I can't say enough. I do landscaping, but I do not specialize in hardscapes. I was asked to put in pavers under a very tight time frame. I needed help, so I reached out to Daniel and he responded. He and his crew came out and did an amazing job. They worked with us until it was dark and then came out the next morning before the sun was up. I could tell these guys were very experienced and know the art of their trade. Their quality work was clean and precise, super friendly, and they do honest work. A big thank you to Daniel and his crew. I will be forever grateful. Well, there you have it. Now, the reason why I say at the very minimum he got this call, Edward got this call on Friday, is because all the work had to be approved. The funding, everything had to be approved in order to even call Edward. Friday was the 12th. And Edward would need the time to get the measurements and everything and materials all together to go start the job that it was on a very tight time frame on Sunday. So I would guess that he did all the measurements and buying all the materials on Saturday. So when did UVU start working on the approval process? It has to get approved. It has to go through a lot of different steps to get the money. Friday was the 12th. Was this like instantly? Anyway, there's your answer. No, hard no. UVU did not have this work pre-scheduled. I don't know what's going on, but I'm not going to stop digging.
So there you go. And now let's get to the text messages. Now, this first part that I'm showing you is what their request was. Their request was from the 10th of September to October 15th. They just wanted to see, the request to seek construction records related to the courtyard renovations between 10th and 15th of October. Sorry, I should say September 10th and between 15th of October. It was denied under code, etc., 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 which requires that record requests be identified, identify the records sought with reasonable specificity. I got to lisp a little bit. Specificity. Specificity. There we go. course I got it. Of course I got it. You know who I am. The phrase courtyard lacks responsible. I'm not going through that again. As the university maintains multiple campus courtyards across multiple campuses. So basically, they were just saying the term courtyard is not good enough. We don't know which courtyard you mean. From September 10th to October 15th, we don't know what courtyard could you be talking about. I don't know. Do you know? Do you know? How about you, special agent? Do you know what they're talking about? I don't know. Courtyard. You'd have to be more specific. Denied. They could have said which courtyard. We're happy to, but instead they found that loophole and they denied it. Now, what they did actually get was text messages. Check these out. So we're going to go through these. Now, I say it's FOIA, but actually what it is something called Gramma. Let me just see here. It is, let me just see if it says here, record request, let's see. Let me just make sure. I just want to show you guys what it actually is. Where does it say it? It doesn't say it anywhere, really? That wouldn't make any sense. There it is. Bang, right there. So that's actually the request they put in, but it's like a Freedom of Information Act. So basically you're going to the school, you're saying, I would like this and this. They said no, but when it came to text messages, you don't have to get real specific with text messages because how could you? So you could say this person or whoever was in charge of this, I want their text messages with whoever. You can actually do the same thing with government officials. That was actually done to Harry Sisson and Josh Shapiro. And because Henry Sisson was communicating with a government official, people were able to get access to the text messages they exchanged. And it actually showed that Harry Sisson was not, it didn't show that he was paid, but it showed that he was not an influencer who was just getting a random interview. It was all very scripted, and he lied about that. And people found that out through this kind of request. So let's jump over to the text messages. Here they are. So again, when it comes to the first name, they have to blur this out. But this person is talking with Daniel or Edward. Now, Edward gave the review and said Daniel is doing a great job. So we could devise, we could figure out that this is actually Daniel this is actually Edward who is sending these messages back and forth, along with someone from UVU. So we'd like a 20 by 60 paved path on our courtyard. Are you coming tomorrow? I'm en route. My guys are getting the stuff together. Wow. In a meeting now. Do you want one of my staff to meet you there? Yes. Not sure where though. There's more. Let's say 8 a.m. I assume 8 a.m. At the site on the plaza. Okay, should work. Perfect. Thank you. And then it says you don't want the sod. We don't want the sod. Now they're saying a name here, so every time that name pops up, they blank it out because they do have to give you the messages, but they don't have to give you the names of everybody involved. So you're seeing these blanks all over here. So they're blanking this, they're blanking that. So let's keep going. Okay, so now the next set of text messages. I have 182 feet of fencing arriving in about 90 minutes or so. Is that an on-site contact we should coordinate with, or can we just pull up and unload and install? Now, what he's talking about, what I figured out is this person here who was looking into this, that's the fencing that they're talking about. All that fencing, because they made sure to fence all the way around the courtyard so people couldn't just walk up to them. And you don't put it down there because then people can walk all the way down and say, hey, what are you guys doing? You put it all the way up here. That way you have a nice, good distance between you and any person that wants to come up and talk to you about it. Now, it says, get her done. Thank you. They show this. They say the patio is done. Is UVU's flag. Is this UVU's flag? Do you want us to secure it and light it? It's a loaner for the week. I think we have enough ambient light. We should be good. Thank you. Let's keep going. Where is it? There it is. Okay, so It's a loner flag, blah, blah, blah. I already read that. Did you have anyone coming to plaster the ceiling? Not yet. We'll get working on that piece. Then it says blank is on it. Now, they're talking about the ceiling. They're talking about some hardscapes. So that would be Daniel that he's talking about there. Now, I can't say that for sure, but just based on the fact that this lady showed us this information, it would make sense that she's saying Daniel is on it. He'll be on site tomorrow morning to assess with, and I don't know whose name that could be. We do want that lit brightly. I have my team bringing lights now. Thank you. And then blank, when will I see something from the architect? Keep going. And it says here, we don't want the sod. You can junk it. Sounds good. We'll get rid of it here. Stand by. We do want some over at the event center. That's just a couple of small. Hopefully, let me see. There's a couple of small. There it is. There's a couple of small paths. Oh, shoot. Oh, shoot. Oh, shoot. I lost it. Let me go back. There you go. Sounds good. We'll get over there and install it. After that, see what I mean? And the reason that they release these messages is because what you're seeing here is two people who are trying to figure it out as quick as they possibly can. If this was already pre-scheduled, it would be like, well, you remember everything I showed you. You remember the pictures you took, right? Like, I don't have to go over every single thing with you, but they do, because this is something that's happening pretty much on the fly. Let me just jump over to the message that really stands out to me. So they're just talking about gray pavers. They wanted to do red. Red is too much, blah, blah, blah. They leave a pin. Oh, and just so you can see, I should show you this, just so you understand that this is actually going on for UVU. This is where the pin was, because he actually asked him, like, could you leave a ping where you want the saw to put? The person marked the location, Orem, Utah. There you go. Also can be shown the irrigation, blah, blah, blah. There is the one that matters the most to me. We heard the media was bothering your team. Shall we send a uniform over? That would be good. My guys are well trained in. Let's go to the next page. Go here. Right? Maybe that would be good. My guys are well trained in keeping quiet. Right there. Keeping quiet. I think blank is on it with your media folks. With UVU's media folks. Like, I don't know. I don't know. Very, very weird. Very weird to be like, my guys are good at keeping quiet. Now, if this is Edward, I mean, this is very odd. You know, you're talking about your guys. If it's Daniel, you're talking about your guys. Either way, you're talking about your guys being well trained in keeping quiet. Why would dudes doing construction have to keep quiet at all? You could just say what you're doing. I worked in film and television. We couldn't always talk about what we were doing because you couldn't know that Denzel Washington is like down the street. You couldn't know that because then everybody would show up and it'd be crazy. If you're just doing landscaping, hardscaping, why can't you just be like, oh, we're just doing this? Yep, we were just called and we're just doing this and then we're going to leave. We're going to go home. What's the big deal? Why would you ever have to keep quiet? You know what I mean? Can you send some more fencing for the top of the kiva? We'd like to keep smaller gaps. We'd like it with smaller gaps. Add on the temporary fencing at the top. Again, what they're talking about there is this. Adding on more fencing. That's exactly what they're talking about right now. They want less gaps. Maybe there was a gap. Maybe somebody could get down, etc. Let's keep going. Yes, please. We're on it. Sounds like UU has some that we can use to bring it down ASAP. And this is pretty much it. I mean, that whole keeping quiet thing was the best thing. Yes, on the top edge. Perfect. You guys have some barriers available, but they are bright red. No, thank you. Any other color? I know I thought the same thing, made the changes, etc., etc. So that's the thing that stands out to me. I'll just read this last part. Happy to help. Okay, looks like they want water. I'm on it. Sounds like we can get more fence tonight from the state fair. My guys are going to pick it up. You guys have been great. Happy to help. I have, hopefully they show this. I have 182 pieces of, oh, no, that's it. So I think the thing that stands out the most is my guys are well trained at keeping quiet. This shows that obviously this stuff was not pre-planned. Definitely wasn't planned early September. Definitely wasn't planned in August. It was planned literally days, maybe 2, maybe 1.5 after what happened to Charlie happened. And that's nuts. And again, it's just one of the many holes that people are finding. Now you might think like, oh, what does the construction matter? Well, it matters. It was a huge crime scene. And it made no sense that they were just like, dig it up, rip it apart, pave over it. It's fine. From the floor to the ceiling, everything redone. If any law enforcement wanted to go there and check things out again, it's completely different. It is done. It is no longer a crime scene that can be used as anything viable. You can't salvage anything from that. They tore it up, replaced everything, and then cleaned it up. You would think that would be unacceptable, but for some reason it was. So that's the big development that's happened so far. There's more that I'm going to be covering, and I'm going to go do that video right now. Obviously, like I always tell you guys, Patreon, I'm going to be doing a little bit of an after show on this episode where I'm going to be giving my raw thoughts on this whole thing. Not that I can't say whatever here. It's completely fine. It's completely fine, you know? It's just something fun we do over there, Patreon. So go check it out. If you're already a part of it, head over there. My thoughts are probably up there or will be very soon. And I'm out of here.